Hello and welcome to Ecocentric. I'm your host, Jake Selesky. Welcome to our first news video. We've got a lot of great news to cover for this week, so let's get started. A few days ago, 2019 began. New Year's Day is a time for celebration, but that celebration doesn't have to come at the expense of the environment. Take Cove Manila, a nightclub in the Philippines that's planned on having the biggest balloon release in history. 130,000 of them were to be released at the start of the new year and is going to get them in the Guinness Book of World Records. However, there are a lot of problems with this. In 1996, it was estimated by the Entanglement Network that 100,000 marine mammals died each year from plastic ingestion. Keep in mind, that's a very high number for a very specific thing. Now, imagine the effects of 130,000 balloons. Cove Manila claims this would have been safe for multiple reasons, but none of them are really accurate. The first reason they gave was that the balloons would be released indoors. This doesn't make it safe, since the balloons would have been thrown away anyway, it just delayed when they would have been released into the environment. The second reason they gave was that the balloons are biodegradable and want to be recycled properly, but latex balloons can sometimes take 4 years to degrade, according to balloonsbelow.org, and that's not taking into account any ribbon that's attached to it. So, the moral of the story here is that if you want to celebrate anything, don't do it in a way that harms the environment. It's really that simple. The next story also takes place in Southeast Asia, and it's that Bali has banned many single-use plastics, such as shopping bags, styrofoam, and plastic straws. Bali Governor Wayan Koster has said that he hoped this legislation would lead to a 70% decline in Bali's marine plastics within a year. We'll see if it works, but I have hope. Our third story is one that came a little before this week, but is still critical. According to ClimateChangeNews.com, the European Union is going to end coal subsidies by 2025. They stated that, quote, the new electricity market design for the first time places a limit on coal subsidies by introducing a CO2 emissions performance standard of 550 grams per kilowatt hour on all new power plants. Surprisingly, Germany was one of the member states aggressively campaigning for this. Despite the progress made by Ecocentric, hope I'm saying that right, Germany isn't known for wanting to invest from coal. Also, side note, Germany's Ecocentric is a legacy from the German Green Party, being part of the government at the turn of the millennium. Most of the greatest achievements of that time were and are being restricted by Merkel's party. Anyway, back to the new EU anti-coal plan. The only major caveat to this whole plan is a grandfather clause that was introduced by Poland that states that no new contracts for coal plants will be approved after December 2019. This means that they essentially have a whole year to build many generators. Hopefully they don't, but even if they do, the rest of Europe is leading the way here. Next up, we have a story by Tesla, and for the sake of transparency, I absolutely love Tesla and Elon Musk. Switching to electric cars, mixed with a more plant-based diet, and a rapid switch to renewables is what will save this planet. But the story today is that the cumulative Model 3 production has exceeded 150,000 cars. That's maybe 5,611 per week, or roughly 1 every 2 or 3 minutes. This growth is probably going to continue into 2019, so we can look forward to electric vehicles taking down gas-powered ones. Continuing on the electric car trend, we have good news about electrics and hybrids in Europe. Their electric car sales jumped 94%, a trend we haven't seen for the past 4 years. Electric cars also account for 61% of non-gasoline cars, which means electric cars are now a more popular alternative than hybrids. That was always the goal. Hybrids were meant to be a bridge to electric cars, now it's finally working. The most popular fully electric car was a Nissan Leaf, selling 30,573 cars. That's impressive, and based on some math at RFS.com, ultimately that means over 1.8 million metric tons of CO2 will now possibly be avoided. And that's just with this specific car in this specific year. Things are definitely getting better. Our next story takes us to South Korea, and they have banned plastic bags in all supermarkets. This ban came into effect on New Year's Day in 2019, and the fine is up to $2,700 US. Single-use plastics for small things such as meat and fish will be allowed. In times like these, we need both steps forward. Back to the United States, with Democrats now in control of the House, you do expect some action on climate change to be taken. However, that hasn't exactly been the case. Nancy Pelosi has indeed established a committee on climate change and has already announced the chair, but it doesn't sound like this chair is going to do anything serious. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, always an icon, called them out on Twitter and said that these reforms shouldn't be considered controversial. The proposals that were controversial were that no fossil fuel money should touch the committee, solutions should be offered for impacted communities, and a sample of the Green New Deal should be drafted. As Jackson Hinkle put it, Nancy Pelosi, your actions are absolutely despicable. Around 40 House Democrats now support the creation of a Green New Deal. Strong action on climate change isn't radical. The reason that so much is being proposed now is because the United States is so far behind. Going into the 2020 election, we have to be very careful to only support candidates who have a strong environmental action position. There's just no time for anything else. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. As always, you can find the full articles in the description below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. You can also follow us on Instagram at Ecocentric. Well, that's all from me. And now it's your turn to save the world. See you next week. This is great news and a great step forward because it will stop around 13,000 jobs and 50 million plastic bags from using 50 million people from using plastic bags.